Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Live Life by Design show. We love having incredible guests here at the Casa, the Mendez Studios at Live Life by Design. And we had Damon come all the way in from Oregon.
Glad to be here.
You flew in today? This morning.
Yep.
So, brother, welcome.
Thank
you so much for being here. This is going to be a fun show.
Grateful, man. Looking forward to it.
So tell us, what have you been up to in the last few months? Just let's start there and we'll unpack it.
Well, solar's been super boring the last few months. It's been super boring. Now
So maybe explain to the viewers and listeners
some background.
Yeah, some background. What
so
you do.
We started our company 5-6 years ago, and smooth sailing. A lot of solar companies thrived in the last little bit, and specifically, call it June, July time, there was a bill passed called the Big Beautiful Bill, directly impacting solar tax credits, energy tax credits, and that impacts everything from solar companies, their margins, the softwares they use, the products we install, who we source from, the countries you're allowed to source from. And we kind of spent all summer just diving in details and working with all the partners while everyone's trying to figure it out. And then when the details all came through, call it early August, we then had to get to work and kind of overhaul the business from what we charge to where we sell to what we sell, who we sell for. It's big. So super overhauling the business all summers, I guess we'd say.
So let me ask you this. So August is basically ground zero after the BBB got launched.
Correct.
How much runway do you have with the current playbook that you have in front of you? Is this good for a year, 2 years?
Multiple years. So the part that's the biggest is you had the Big Beautiful Bill passed, and then the Monday following an executive order come. The executive order took 45 days to pass, and that's when everyone was in limbo. The biggest concern was regarding a concept or a strategy called safe harboring, meaning can a lender purchase a certain amount of a product in a certain window and then allow you to install that product at any time. So it's 5 to 10% of a project must be purchased in 26 and 27. If it's purchased, you can install it at any time. So you're working with lenders and banks that can go and safe harbor hundreds of thousands of solar projects, which we have, which gives us a good runway through the late 2020s into 2030. But it's not every lender. Whereas in the past, you used to be able to bank on it. We have to be very strategic and work with the right people that have inventory. Otherwise, you don't get a benefit of tax credits or a good product offering.
What are some of the life lessons that you learned as a leader going through all their, call it turmoil?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say turmoil?
Turmoil is fair.
Okay.
Yeah, you lose sleep.
So I mean, there's got to be some sort of silver lining.
There is.
So when you look at the silver lining, what are some of the learning lessons that you learned, and also what did you become through the process?
You become resilient. You become gritty. You also understand that everything is problems that have solutions. Sometimes they're just bigger problems. And we've had multiple conversations, myself and my partners, of there's not many people in the world that have the opportunity to go through a problem like this or find a solve for something like this. You solve big problems, you create wealth. You solve big problems, you create stable companies. And the silver lining is I think we solved some of the biggest problems the industry's had in a decade. And that turns into a stronger company coming out, a stronger leadership group, more confidence. So that's a silver lining for leadership group. And then I'd also say, and a big shout out to just our sales leadership group, our corporate leadership group, our install leadership group, us being transparent with them throughout the changes. We've gained more trust, more loyalty, and change is never easy in an industry like this. We've been doing this a long freaking time. And change leads to insecurity or stresses, and our team, not just ourselves, but our team has done a good job at going through that and saying we can take on more next time. Like if you go through this heavy of a shift and heavy level of uncertainty, what else? Like how does it get worse? It can always get worse, but you feel really resilient, strong.
I mean, really, really good. I have a question as you're going through that. So did the impacts that you got through the new legislation, when everything was said and done, was it worse than you thought?
Much better.
Okay. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
How we often imagine that life and things in the future are going to be way worse than they actually happen in actuality.
Yeah, there was This is from one of my partners, Dusty. I don't know who had told it. Maybe it was a grandma or something. Said, we always think of the worst case scenario, but the worst case scenario rarely happens. Doesn't mean you don't plan for it. Like you create plans A through plan Z. Hopefully you can operate on plan A. If things change, jump to B, to C, to D. But plan Z, rarely. Like rarely you have to go there, but your mind goes there and you start to stress about it, which most of the time is unnecessary. I feel like you feel out of control when those things that are changing are out of your control. If it's legislation, if it's markets that we're able to import from or countries, that's something you can be doing something perfectly and then something comes out of nowhere and it's out of your control. And if you think through these worst case scenarios, do you go and communicate the worst case scenario to everybody? No, absolutely not. You go and create a path forward saying these could happen, here's what we're doing to prevent that. But ultimately, you make the best calculated decisions you can with the data you have at the time. And we can always look hindsight 2020 and say we should have done this. And we've done that hundreds of times. But can we go back and say we made the best decision with the information we had at the time, and we've done that every time? And you don't have to be right 100%. You just need to be right most of the time. And then you have a stable company year in and year out. Ups and downs for sure come, but just staying consistent, man.
And are you guys adding ancillaries on top of rooftop solar?
That's correct, yeah. So 2021, we started to do in-house roofing with Pure Light Roofing. Moving forward into this year, we've obviously attached batteries and included batteries as a product offering. We also work and have done insulation. We're in talks and partnerships with HVAC companies, roofing and siding, gutters, all that kind of comes hand in hand. Our whole thing in doing this overhaul this summer with our platform is allowing a top-notch sales team to be able to sell individual services or bundled services and truly be a home service company versus just residential solar, what we started with. We kind of by accident fell into roofing, became a big roofing company, and by accident, but it's by design, we are landing into additional services for homes.
Isn't it crazy when you have great design work, great architecture, you can say it happens by happenstance, but it's happening by design because you built it the right way. You built that foundation where now you can aggregate additional services on top of that beautifully constructed platform.
Well, and it's a big deal for the company and for even our salespeople. I'm obviously over our sales channels, and when the product mix changes from loans to leases or PPAs or cash, contribution or margin to the company also changes depending on the loan mix, which impacts commissions. So depending on the market you're selling in, depending on the product you're now able to sell and the pricing, you have to be able to provide additional income sources for your salespeople. So you may not be able to sell a solar project on this, maybe you can, but the commissions will be lower than they used to be. But you tack on a roof, you tack on a battery, you tack on insulation, and then you surpass what commissions used to be and create another runway of 5-6 years for a sales rep who maybe saw the end of the tunnel.
How long ago was your transition from Vivint Smart Home to Pure Light? How long ago was that?
It's been over 4.5 years.
Okay, so just let's go back where you were 4.5 years ago and look at where Damon Price is today.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the milestones or, wow, I did that moments that you've been able to savor or just celebrate in that 4.5 year run? Because you sitting here today is a very different Damon Price from when I knew you in the Vivint Smart Home days.
For sure.
And it's all for the better. Like your business acumen, your demeanor, your rapport, your confidence, your glow, everything is that much greater and better. And I know that the stresses you've been through at Pure Light are way greater than you had at Smart Home.
Yep.
It's definitely a case study of the refiner's fire. But what are some of those
aha moments,
celebratory moments or moments where you're like, oh, wow, I was able to go through this, or I'm really proud of this in this role that I'm in as an owner, on this platform?
So the one that stands out the most, it was a crowning accomplishment for all of us after 3.5 years of starting the business, doing a private equity acquisition. That's a home run. Like you go into what % of companies get to do that? Mm-hmm. What % of companies get to do that?
Everybody says they're going to have one.
Always.
Everybody says they're going to have that.
And then they may have some, and there's small wins, but you go and it narrows down to the percentage of companies that get to have a 9-figure acquisition, and that's crazy. Like that is a That's a cool accomplishment.
Yep.
And so that's just a crowning achievement, but it comes with its stresses. You now are in a much larger company with a board, with private equity holders, with bank stakeholders, and you're forced to do things that you may never have done. And that is creating the consistent board decks for these guys and speaking their language, conveying what's happening in the business to the numbers talk.
Do you feel like you've almost learned a different
Oh,
language?
100. Yeah,
Like
different
you've learned
language
Russian?
master. Yes, and the more we meet with some of our financing partners, and they teach you things you would never have learned unless you go through it.
Yeah.
I was speaking with a friend of mine, actually when I came into your party that weekend. I was talking with a buddy that night, and it kind of dawned on me. I'm like, most people, even if you went to school for business, and I was at the Marriott School of Business at BYU before I dropped out for DoorDash. I was there 3 years. And I was like, 3 years of business knowledge, and I had an emphasis in entrepreneurship. I didn't learn half this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because 90% of businesses don't have to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was calling another buddy, or maybe it was one of our sales leaders, and I was talking with him on Saturday, just this week. And I said, I got to kind of feel proud of you, proud of all of us, that we may go through a problem. We're solving problems in states in solar and roofing that many have never even gone and still haven't gone. We're the only solar provider in a couple of our states still to this day. And you get to a spot where there is a challenge presented and you're trying to solve the problem. And when you can only list 3 to 4 people in your life that you could call to even ask the question, that is a small group, and we should be grateful for the challenge, because how many people in the country have then gone through that? And to know that I can only call 4 that even know what the hell I'm talking about, I'm proud of that. Like, that is, call it another aha moment. Whatever happens post our company in 20 years, 30 years, that knowledge is then beneficial for the next group that's going to go through it. And someone's going to go through it, and I hope I'm on that call list of, like, who went through this? Damon Price went through this. I'm going to pick up the phone, and I can go back through the 2020, hindsight 2020 vision, things that I wish we would have done the week of the acquisition, the month of the acquisition, 3 months after, 6 months after, and now 2.5 years removed. We made bad decisions, but we also made decisions with the best of our ability with the knowledge we had. But I could help a company or help friends navigate that better, and they're going to feel like it's the wrong decision. They're going to be like, that's crazy. But you can always look back hindsight and be like, I promise you, that is the one to do it. So the aha moment crowning achievement is the knowledge acquired over the last 2.5 years of stress, right? If you look at a photo, I was sending this to a buddy there's a photo of me the month that we did the acquisition, and there's a photo of me just 2 months ago. And I'm like, how have I aged 8 years in 2.5 years? And I also stopped growing out my beard because it got all patchy white. Like, you go through some stuff.
Yeah.
It reminds me of have you ever seen the photo? There's the World War II soldier before World War II and then after the war, 4 years later.
Yeah.
Like, that's a war-beaten leader, right? Yeah. He's gone through it. And I parallel a lot to Vivint, to those days, because when we were going through some stuff and we got to interview Todd in situations just like this, and there were times where he looked great and there's times where it looked like he hadn't slept, and it just clicked. I'm like, I get it. Like, we're not at that level, but we're going through a portion of it. Like, we're seeing pieces of it, and I sympathize, I empathize with what that could have meant and what he was going through, and still able to perform at the level he did. Great example for me. I think about him all the time. Take that to our people, as they need you to perform at your best every day. You could have the worst day ever. They pick up the phone or you pick up the phone. They can't know that it's your worst day ever. They may be going through their own thing. They don't care about your thing. And so another, call it achievement, is being able to just be the consistent leader, the consistent voice, that they don't need to go how terrible your day may be. They can call you and you're the same version of yourself every day. The better you become at doing that, the higher you progress in leadership. We train on that on our senior leadership calls and things like that.
Awesome. I think our viewers would be interested to find this out from you. That a lot of founders, founders and business owners, you learn certain things. What are some business principles or even business terms that you're like, how did I not know this before?
Yeah.
Like maybe a cap rate or an NOI or gap accounting. Is there anything that comes to mind? Obviously, you went to the Marriott Business School, which is a phenomenal school, but is there anything that you may have not known in your Vivint days that you're like, how did I not know this?
Oh, yeah.
What are some of those? Biggest
one. And I train on that. I did this in a recruiting meeting yesterday with a solar pro guy. Freaking love him. He's so talented, been in the industry a long time. And we're walking through it, and I was like, you need to understand contribution or gross margin. And every time people are like, oh, it's profits to the companies. I'm like, it's not though. It's what does it cost to get the deal done? Let's talk through sale price, contract value, commissions, labor, materials, indirect and direct labor. You can come to a cost. Everything below that is what matters then. It's like what you're paying for your G&A costs, rents, insurances, liabilities, legal. And breaking them into those two buckets became this aha moment for myself, because not every deal you sell, and I think back to the Vivint times, and I didn't run this stuff back then, but can every deal remain profitable? You don't have to go make a ton of money.
Now you have a lot more love for Crittenden, huh?
So much more love, like so much. And there's oftentimes a mistake that people think volume solves problems. It's profitable volume solves problems.
Yeah,
you can go throw 1,000 deals at a problem, but if you're not making money on it, you might as well have had a lemonade stand on the corner.
Well, sometimes that volume is what puts you under.
100%. And that scares me too. So,
and then I think to help draw a point home, some companies out there are believing most easily what they desire most deeply.
Mm-hmm.
And they almost want those marginal problems to go away. And they're thinking that they're going to go away with that volume. But that volume is what's putting you under.
Correct.
That increased volume and you not correcting the margin and the profitability, and you're not driving true NOI, is what can cause you to have to close up shop and be encumbered.
Well, you expand your liabilities the more volume that comes. Doesn't mean that you're going to always have problems, but you could have, if you're in installs, for example, you can have someone fall off a roof. You can have OSHA show up and send you a fine.
Yeah.
You could have materials be held up and then hit with a tariff fee, which happened all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And most salespeople don't see that. Most company employees don't see that. But all of that impacts everything above the line, right? And then what you do as a business now is streamlined with software. It's with how efficient are your departments, how the deals you strike for leases and rents. It all plays into, is the company sustainable? Is it profitable? And part of our nature is to remain gritty, remain scrappy, and that's kind of how we built the company and how we kind of remained.
Brother, I'm telling you, I have to bring this point home. I talked to a few people in your industry, and I know what they're paying on a red line. I know what they're paying like on a quote unquote profit pay scale.
Right.
And I'm like, your C-suite is like, they're not present. They're not. They have the blinders on. They're not wanting to confront the brutal facts. The companies are willing to drill in and really be honest with themselves and with their people. Those are the ones that are gonna,
to move forward.
Be able to move forward.
Yeah. If you don't understand the numbers, understand the profitability on every deal, you're just going to extend the problem. You're going to grow the problem, have more liabilities, everything we just spoke about, and one change could be a big, beautiful bill, massive change. It could be one price increase. If you're operating on these small margins, right there is no company after that. And then what are you going to do? Go claw at the sales reps' commissions and risk losing teams? You can't go pay electricians less. Like, you are fixed in the install world. And so that's one that I would say just aha moment is I wish I would have known a long time ago. It's helped me draft profitable commissions, profitable for our salespeople and also profitable for us. And then when we can pay every single week, and I hear the horror stories of people in our industry that go weeks without a paycheck or delayed paycheck, or they're not paid on a season. That's just not even in my vocabulary, because it's all baked. It's baked in. It's budgeted in properly. That should never be a problem. And when that becomes a problem, it means someone's not looking. They're not dissecting every deal, and they try and solve it with volume, and volume is not always the solution.
Yeah, love that. I like asking this on every show as well. What's a book you're currently recommending to people? Because I'm sure you, like many other leaders, you always get asked, hey, what books do you like? What book are you reading?
So what
would you want to recommend right now?
I always recommend Culture Code by Daniel Coyle.
Yep.
Have you read that book?
I have.
Love that. And it's because I come from the culture space. Culture is what keeps the company moving forward. You can have a good foundation, but to build the lifers, the guys who want to build a career, it's on culture. It's not on pay scales. So Culture Code, I recommend to every leader, everyone who comes through our organization, it's on our first book list.
I'm just laughing because quite often the companies with the biggest pay scales have the worst culture.
It's because there's no more funds
There's
there
nothing
to fund culture.
There's nothing to recruit on.
Yeah. So culture code, I just love. If you're looking to build a team, or you have a team, or you're a manager or an owner, 10 out of 10. Which he also has another one called talent code. I kind of send those I say those in the same sentence. That's one I recommend to every HR department. It is so helpful for
Talent code?
the talent code.
I haven't read
Same
that one.
author. If you read them back to back, they piggyback really well. And then just over this last year and going through these changes, I read it 2 years ago, and then I read it again this summer, is Elon Musk, the biography, not the autobiography, biography. And it's because you hear the stories through PayPal and Tesla and SpaceX. From the outside looking in, you look at the stock, and it just shoots. And you're like, oh, everything's good. It's shiny rainbows.
He was putting in 22 hours a day.
22 hours a day. And the problems he was solving, obviously, on a massive scale, there's a reason that they're arguably the most valuable company in the world. But it wasn't that way in his downs, which you get to hear the downs and the downs of the company, and then the freaking roar back. It is motivating that you're not alone. Like, if you are running a company or you're running a team and you feel like you're the one that's going through the crap, you're not alone. Like, there are so many people that feel the way you feel, and you feel burned sometimes. You feel burned out sometimes, sad, depressed. Is it even worth it? Should I just go back to knocking as a team? Because that's way less stressful. But then you talk with other owners, and it's always helpful to meet entrepreneurs. You're all in the same boat, man, and you're all feeling the same way.
Yeah.
And then you have these amazing years that outweigh the bad.
Yeah.
But you're not alone, and that's a big epiphany
so
for me.
social media tells a different story, but it's just not true. One of my definitions of being an entrepreneur is escaping 1,000+ deaths. Like, how many times have you died in these last 4.5 years?
Many times.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you come back stronger.
Yeah, you just come back and time again. I said I was on a business trip in Phoenix at the front of this week, and I was talking to a big family office, and I said, hey, in my strong opinion, entrepreneurs, founders, it's not that they run out of money. You know what they run out of?
Will.
Energy.
Yep.
Grit. Grind. Purpose. Because if you have that, you will be able to solve the majority of the problems that are thrown your way. But when you forget why it was that you started, and when you forget that holy cause, and when you don't have that grit, the world's not going to conspire in your favor any longer.
Right.
Money's a commodity. What's not a commodity is that grit, that fervor. The chokehold of a business is the psychology or lack thereof of the business leadership. So just keep that in mind, entrepreneurs. You got to be gritty. You got to be willing to embrace the suck. And I say this all the time too. As a founder, you need to have a superpower, and that superpower needs to be that you can see in the dark, because the darkness will come, and it's those that can go through that darkness that can actually one day see the light again, because there will be dark moments.
Oh yeah, and you'll get into dark headspaces.
Yeah.
And it's reading, it's consistently reading books. It's going to the seminars. I love, and I will preach to the ground, Tony Robbins. We've gone to some together too, and those are battery rechargers for someone that's feeling down. And then you pick yourself up, you power through. And it parallels to sports. You hear some of the best sports athletes that power through the suck.
Yep.
They make legends. Like, they're legendary people. And how many people threw in the towel along the way? And there's to parallel to the sports, the race, the 29029 race. It's held by Jesse Itzler. Have you seen this thing? This thing? So I did that 2 summers ago, and I was invited by a friend of mine named Mitch.
Mitch Matthews?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I went with Mitch, and I didn't know what I was getting into. He texted me maybe 2 or 3 weeks ahead. He's like, hey, are we doing this? I'm like, yeah. I look at what it is, and it's like, 36-hour race, 30,000 feet of elevation climbed. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. It sounds good. And you go to a dark place. It's you versus you. You're on the mountain for 36 hours by yourself at a 45% grade, just consistently uphill. And I'm so grateful I did it that summer, because that feeling of you'll make it to the top, just keep your head down. I got fevers, I had optical blindness, and the guys and the instructors and the medics are just like, you just power through, your body will break through it. And so you get into that same level of despair when you're like, man, we can't solve this problem. This is too big. Or, man, this overweight, this is not worth it.
Were you able to use that experience on the mountain as you were dealing with this
Dude,
stuff?
every day you pull from that spot you've never been.
So what's the lesson there? What lesson can you give us?
It's the Iron Cowboy. There's 7 more reps, or David Goggins. There's 7 more in you, 7 more miles. You can keep going.
I'm not trying to extract anything out of you. I'm just curious. But should we seek to do harder things so that when these moments surface in our normal everyday life, that we can turn to these
all day? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the daily doing hard things. So people do the ice bath. I do the ice bath all the time. It's part of like the morning routine. They always say, do it before the workout. I'm like, I'm not doing it for the health benefits. I'm doing it because 45-degree water at 5 in the morning just sucks. Do that hard thing. Just stick to a workout schedule. That's pretty hard. Most people don't do that. Do that hard thing. Challenge yourself to do a physical feat like 29029, because that's a hard thing. And there are easy years and there are hard years. But if you're consistently doing the hard stuff, they're just like, it's another day. Like, it's just another day, and this could be seen as normal.
And that's what entrepreneurs are. It's just professional problem solvers. The other day I heard regarding the game of golf. It's like, why do so many entrepreneurs love golf? Mm-hmm. If you think about it, you're solving many, many, many problems within a 4-hour time frame. You're on hole 1, you got to solve that problem. How do I get out of the rough? How do I avoid this trap? How do I get on their fairway? Oh, I'm not on their fairway. Now how do I get back into play? Oh, now I only have 1 stroke left. How do I look at this and make it happen? Okay, I figured that out.
Yeah.
Oh, guess what? Here comes hole number 2.
Reset.
And you know what I mean? And that's that. Listen, going through those experiences that you go through and quote unquote forcing yourself to climb those mountains, do those crazy races, are precursors to you being able to solve the issues that you see on the home front or in the workplace.
Everywhere. Yeah. And going back to where you are mentally, whether you're doing the daily ice bath, you go to a dark place, it sucks. Yeah. You go do a marathon or something like that, you unlock something because you put yourself in a position you've never been. You unlock something that's never been unlocked because you're in a place that you've never seen. And
as you're going through this, I'm thinking of all the different things that I'm doing to stay in my comfort zone. Because if Mitch called me to go on that mountain, he didn't call me. Like, he knew.
You weren't on the short list?
I was not on his list. He knows. So, and full disclosure, like, I did an ice bath today. Yeah. Guess what? My knee, up to my knees of that. I didn't go all the way in. But at least I got,
you do it.
I got the momentum going.
Yeah.
I did my sauna.
Yep.
And then my ice bath was
to the knees.
A little bit above my knees.
Hey, it's a little bit of a hard thing.
Yeah. But it's just so funny, like, how there's just levels to this thing and how much comfort just keeps dragging you back in. But if you consistently live in that comfort zone, man, that is, for lack of a better, phrase to back at a cliche, it is your danger zone.
It is.
If you don't mind, and this just came up, and this is very personal, and you can completely avoid it, but I dealt with my mother's death not too long ago. I know that you had
last year
a similar experience. I can skip it if you want me to, or if you want to talk about it. My dad just got out of surgery. We found out he had lung cancer. He's about to ring the bell. He's really cancer free right now, but we got to do a few more things before we can, get the bell rung for him. And my wife's parents are both gone. Her mom passed away when her mom was like 55 years old when she passed, so super, super young. How old was your mom?
55.
55 when she passed.
Maybe just under 55, yeah.
Same thing with her dad. My mom's gone. My dad's, going through some of this stuff. So, we talk about business, we talk about all these things, and then sometimes a lot of these things don't even matter, right? If that makes sense where I'm going.
I know where you're going.
So how do we keep doing the CEO thing and, all these things that we do on a daily and dealing with the big, beautiful bill, and then, wait a minute, why are we doing this? And then there's life. Correct. And I've shared this in different shows, but, your balance sheet can show how much cash you got, how much you have left. You can check on your account and you can see that stuff. Time could be today.
Correct.
Could be mañana. So maybe talk to us about that journey with somebody so near and dear to you, leaving us at such a young age, and just your perspective on that and how you're able to go on, elegantly with that.
Yeah. So similar to, some of the parents you just mentioned, my mom went through cancer. It came out of nowhere. Didn't battle it for a super long time. So I know some people,
kinda, if you don't mind.
yeah, so it started as colon cancer, metastasized kind of everywhere after that. And it went quick. Like, we're not talking just a couple months, but she lasted about 2 years, 2.5 years. And then it was just over, right? And you have someone who was so healthy. Prior, you have a photo of her the week she was diagnosed in Paris, like with her husband. Just amazing stuff. And then it just, in a 9-month span, she's not even the same person. Yeah, life changes quick. Wow. And I say very frequently, talking about our own company and talking with our employees, and you hear sales reps and employees saying, I'm giving everything. I'm doing the 100-hour work days. That's how I feel, right? You're doing the 100-hour. And I say, you need to take a step back for a second. Like, Pure Light's not going to be on your headstone, man. Like, hopefully it says loving father, husband, entrepreneur, whatever you want it to be on there, but it's not going to have our logo. It's not going to have our company.
Wow.
And if you're not doing this for you in some way, then you're doing it for the wrong reason, and you're going to hit a burnout. And I struggle still. I'm perfecting it over the next 20, 30 years. I'll get better and better. The work-life balance idea, I kind of see, and I don't remember where I saw that work-life harmony diagram where it's not two circles that overlap. It's the two circles inside of each other, and it's being able to turn on and turn off. And what's really helped is being just more present when you're home. You talk about that a lot, actually. I haven't gotten to the spot where I can shut off my phone at 5 o'clock because a lot of our people are still working till 10 p.m. But being able to say, if I'm present or if I'm at a game, I'm at a game. Or if I'm at the gym, I'm at the gym. If I'm on a trip, I'm on a trip. And trying to segment it the best I can. It's not about doing it perfectly. It's about attempting to do it. And that, going back to my mom, is there's so many things I wish we could have done. It was also harder because I had already relocated out of the state. So I had seen her just a couple of times prior to that all happening. And you just don't want to look back and say, man, I wish I'd spent more time with my kids. I don't want my kids to say I wish they'd spent more time with me or I was never around. So it is a struggle that entrepreneurs and business owners or just high-performance employees face is, am I doing it for the right reason, and am I happy? Do I like the people I work with? Do I like the company I'm with? And is my family getting the time that they need? And there's a sign inside my office, kind of like when you walk into a Nike town, those big white signs, and it says, make dope shit with cool people. That's it. And that applies to the family. Are you doing cool things with your family? Are you doing cool things with your employees? Do you like the environment that you're in? And if you do, you're checking the box. Doesn't mean it's easy, but you're checking the box. And if one of those is getting more than the other, it's okay for certain seasons, but if it's all the time, the priorities are kind of misaligned. And did I ever share the video with you called Backstory? It's like a 7-minute long clip, came out like 12 years ago on the internet, on Vimeo. Have you ever seen this? Maybe. I'll send it to you after this. I have it tattooed down my bicep because it changed my life. It says Backstory.
Maybe unpack it for me. Okay. Maybe I'll remember. But go ahead for everybody.
Yeah, so the backstory concept, the reason it just was so heavy.
Because I remember you sending me something, but I'm going to try to.
Probably this. I'll send it if you haven't. In a 7-minute span, this director, which, shout out this director, he created this short film, launched it at every short film festival in the world, won every one of them. That film's now gone on to be sold to like 6 or 7 different. It's just so phenomenal. 7-minute summary of a life. It starts with a baby, and it's all filmed from behind the head, so you don't get to see the face, and it's narrated so well. And because you can't see the face, you are the person, right? So it's like, these are your first steps. This is your first memory. This is your first house, your first time riding a bike. And it goes through the whole life cycle. And then random things happen that just send you down this dark spot. And if they say, and this isn't in the video, but if you feel like your worst days have already happened, you're wrong. Your worst days can still be ahead. How did you handle them then? Are you going to be stronger now? And towards the end, they have this 90-year-old who's sitting on his rocking chair, and then it just ends, right? It's just black. And he's like, and that's how the story ends. And it's not a happy video. It's not a sad video. It's life. And so I call it this rocking chair test, or my backstory test, where you're 92 years old and you're sitting back in your chair and you're looking back through these chapters of your life, your story. And is it a boring story to read? Is it a happy story to read? Is it an adventurous story to read? And chapters may be days, they may be years of your life, but how do you keep your story interesting? And the interesting parts are not work. It's the fun trips with the family. It's changing careers. It's starting a business, failing in a business. That is a fun story. And then when you're 92, you're going to look at the ups and the downs. And we talked about the dark times The dark times are when you learn the most. And that's what kind of highlights the brighter days that come ahead. And then just re-emphasizing, and I say it to our salespeople, our employees, is if you're going through a dark time, how you handle right now is important because your worst days haven't even happened yet. And then I'll share that video, and it hits. So I'll share it with you again. Disclaimer, it's heavy, but
am I going
it's
to cry?
insightful. Oh, yeah.
I'm a crier.
I am not a crier, and
I'm a crier.
Sob.
I can't even watch my dog skip. That makes me sad.
Yeah, it's heavy. Yeah. It's heavy, but it is so insightful, and it's humbling that you get one shot at this life, one shot at this story, one shot at this book. Make it the best book.
Just think of all the time we waste just over dumb things that don't even matter. Yes. And how hurtful we can sometimes be to other people.
With things that are irrelevant.
Yeah. And, I said this on an earlier show, but cruelty is a sign of weakness. If you think about it, every cruel act that we put ourselves into, or that we're a victim of, usually it stems from some sort of weakness.
Yeah, or insecurity.
Yeah, which is a sign of weakness, insecurity is. So just being cognizant of all these things and just, maybe for me it's, Jeff, don't take yourself so seriously. It's going to be okay. And then, like, I guarantee what Damon, tell me your mom's name? Laura would love to have right now is another day together.
For sure.
Like another meal together, another evening together. Same thing with me and my mom. Like, but we worry about these dumb things, And I even watched my dad today and how he's behaving, how he's acting, and it's just so tender, it's so pure, it's so he knows it's the curtains are going to close soon. And in Spanish, and I don't know if it'll translate well, but we say La vida es una fiesta que un día termina. I don't know if you understood what I just said.
Yeah, the life is a party.
That one day will end.
Correct.
Like, that's how it is, right? But we just add all these things that are just sometimes nonsensical.
When you could even receive hateful messages, angry messages, maybe see a negative comment online.
Yeah.
And if you have some of that self-awareness, like what you're talking about, that may go over some people's head this year, but next year it's going to hit, right?
I agree.
And you're going to read something and it's negative and you're like, I wonder what that guy's going through. Because what he's saying doesn't freaking matter.
Yeah.
Or why is this person saying a snarky comment at dinner?
Yeah.
It's like, just let it go, man. Like, at the end of the day, you look at life, and it's going to get high level here, but this is like, call it like where my mentality is that's helped me so much. Not perfect, but it helps, is whatever religion you may be, there's amazing people out there. If you have a Catholic, Mormons, Buddhists, whatever, the more you travel this world, the more you see how good people are, and they're honest or they're happy. And the more you study a different religion or a different belief, you see these intersecting beliefs. And for like core heart of hearts, and I sell this is a sales training, but it's spiritual, is at the end of the day, just like, be happy, man. Like, be grateful, be giving, give back, create opportunity for other people, be a good father, be a good friend. And if you're trying as hard as you can to do that, you're going to feel this fulfillment. And regardless of the religion you're in, you're going to align with it because they all teach the same thing. Yeah. And it kind of gives you peace. There's no reason to be dishonest. There's no reason to like have a really crappy, angry day and lash out at someone. Just like kind of chill, like cruise the best you can. And it's helpful. And maybe it's just what I tell myself to like stay going in the dark times. But it doesn't have to be more complicated than that. And sometimes we overcomplicate it.
Yeah, it's the whole theory of Occam's razor. It's like usually the simplest answer is the answer. Mm-hmm. In today's day and age, for some reason, we like complexity. Mm-hmm. And complexity is just the enemy of done. It's really the enemy of good. Like, simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. Leonardo da Vinci said that. You mentioned there's 4,200 religions out there.
I didn't even know that. That's wild.
Yeah. And the vast majority are teaching exactly what you just said. Mm-hmm. Be a good person, love, don't hate.
Yep.
Like, be a better human.
Well, you just meet people that rock you. Like, you may see someone who's really toxic and negative, and then you go to Shanghai and you find a Buddhist monk who's been in the mountains for 20 years, and you're like, that guy's going to hell?
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah,
that is a good freaking dude,
No doubt. Going back to Pure Light, your current, what's your official title?
Chief Sales Officer.
Okay, so sales. But this is what's interesting, is a lot of, I'm assuming, well, I think I know. Mm-hmm. Take it back. So what is your current role at Pure Light?
Chief Sales Officer.
Okay. And what's really interesting, Damon, is I'm assuming that a big portion of your meetings are not necessarily on sales strategy. They're
Very rarely. Very rarely.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
So what, there's a lot of sales leaders that tune into the show. What should we be training on versus just mere strategy, and why?
We hit on the word a few times today. It's grit, and I'll say even mental health. If you've worked a corporate job your entire life and never commission only, you don't understand the level of stress when you haven't sold in 2 weeks and the rent is due. You can't put yourself in that spot. You have kids to feed, school to pay for. And the more you rub shoulders with guys that have done it as a career for 5 years, 10 years, the emotional ups and downs as an individual, then as a father or a mother, you need to be mentally strong. And when it comes to these trainings is, going back to what I said, is navigating the downtimes and just staying consistent. If you're having a breakout day and you go, and whatever your industry is, you go have more sales or more sets or more closes than you've ever had, tomorrow, go do your standard again. You may have a really bad day, then the next day, go do your standard again. And just be consistent. Training on consistency and a tight schedule is oftentimes more impactful than the most tactical, strategic sales training you can give. It's consistent time over a long period of time versus I have a zingy one-liner that works every so often.
Yeah. And I'll ask the question, how many of you know really amazing salespeople that can produce for a week, maybe a month, but they can't produce on a consistent level after that? But they're the best salesperson in the room.
Well, and then you go look at annual earnings. If you look at, I've ran some amazing stats. You have a consistent earner who's just consistently doing good volume. Could be any industry. And you have a guy who has sporadic weeks here and there, here and there. You take the annual earnings, oftentimes they pencil out either the exact same or the consistent salesperson is the highest earner because he just doesn't break the schedule. He just stays consistent.
Well, you see that in sports, right?
See it in sports. It's like, this industry parallels to sports so well, which is why our competitions that we run and everything, we have an athlete mentality. The psychology is very similar. It's a you versus you out on the field. It's you versus you in golf. It's you versus you in sales. And being mentally strong, leveraging the parallels to a Kobe Bryant, a Tiger Woods, the work ethic over a long period of time. And then the biggest pitfall that I'll reference solar specifically because people say it's easy money or it's big money. It is not. It is a very difficult thing, and you get hoodwinked from the Instaglam of some guys who go crush it, and they do. There's a handful that crush, but there's a lot of people who get crushed. So if you can parallel the daily habits turn into great weeks, turn into great months, you end up having a long career instead of trying to be flashy, right? Trying to be flashy.
Beautiful. And then I asked you about some of your defining moments at Pure Light. Tell me some of your defining moments at Vivint Smart Home. And maybe some of the people, let's do some shout outs. Who do you miss from Vivint Smart Home?
Josh Crittenden. I mean, my family, and I say like my brother and my family, you spend tens of thousands of hours in a building with the same individuals, you love them. Kevin Swiss, who was there, Steven Anderson, Josh Crittenden, Todd Peterson, Todd Santiago. That is a tight group, and there's plenty others. If I left you off the list, you're not. I love you still. Every one of the sales leaders were like brothers. We were just in Italy with some of them, and it was like an amazing reunion, and it's like we never left, right?
And what's interesting is you're quote unquote a competitor now,
right?
And that love is still as strong as ever.
Yeah. Well, if you going back to it, treat people right, do things the right way. If you're going to leave a company, do it right. Don't burn anyone. This world is round and this industry is small, and you never know when you need to call in a favor. Do you have a good reputation with anyone that you've done business with? Because sometime it's going to come where you're going to need to pick up that phone. And yeah, I have friends at Vivint or a New Sun or a Solar Pros. They're everywhere. I was just talking about Rocky Niger yesterday with a guy, and I freaking love him. And I have so many memories of being in New Orleans or in Florida, visiting these guys who I have core memories of my life. So you say some things that stood out at Vivint is all of the Vivint cons, which turned into home openers.
Oh, yeah.
Those were monumental moments for me. Those were the 180-hour work weeks. Somehow you fit it in there where you just aren't sleeping, lose 12
maybe
pounds.
Name off some of the speakers or public heads that you had come in.
Yeah, during that time, I'll reference you had the David Goggins to the Shaun Whites to the Tony Robbins, Magic Johnson. Who else was there? Eli Manning.
Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter was awesome. Donovan Mitchell. It just keeps going. We gotta meet these guys, work with these guys. But I think what I loved so much about those events is how hard you worked to then see the outcome, which parallels to everything we've already talked about today. In preparation for those events, which we'd host 8,000 to 9,000 people in the arena when we do that, takes 6 months of prep, and then day of showtime, we'd run 6 and 7 day events up in Salt Lake, running with your teams, other teams, and between myself, Steven, and Kevin, everyone who I just listed, we weren't sleeping for 5 days straight. And it was specifically the event we held in Salt Lake where One Republic came and performed. I remember that one because I just remember being so exhausted, and somehow I lost 23 pounds that week. Just when my eyes had sunk into my head. I was living on, there used to be that energy drink that got outlawed called Red Line. I was in it. But you get back and you're just like, I am exhausted, but I am like so satisfied.
That's cool.
And that happened time and time and time again. And so between that and then visiting all of these amazing leaders, I had an amazing opportunity to see not just how one team works, because I was with my sales org doing door-to-door for the 5 years. I only saw my team. As soon as I went corporate and got to work with everyone else, I got to kind of pick the best practices of every team, every region, division, which has helped us at Pure Light, to be honest. I've taken bits and pieces of all of you guys, and those are core memories with amazing people.
Love it. Okay, final question for you. Lots of nuggets. Thank you so much again for your grace and just your time and coming all the way from Oregon to be a guest on the show. And when we do the show, it's not so much what it really does is it hopefully it unlocks people's minds and it opens up their hearts to new ideas and hopefully it's a good investment when they tune in. So thank you. I know that there's a lot of phenomenal nuggets here that you've brought to the table. I'm sure we all have this, and I've been asking the viewers to answer this question for themselves as I'm asking it. But there's got to be something where Damon is not allowing himself to bring to the surface, either due to pride, due to maybe shame, maybe due to inadequacy. There's some gift inside of Damon or something that you wish you could bring forward that's helpful for humankind, if you will, for the world. Could be at Pure Light, could be in your community, could be your family, could be with your spouse. What are you holding back that you shouldn't be holding back? And I know it's a tough question.
It is.
It's deep. And you can go as light as you want or as heavy as you want. It's up to you. But again, I like asking these questions because it helps all of us think and grow.
You go deep. As you were saying that, and I read this just recently, JD, who was actually my partner, was on your podcast not too long ago. He and I must have seen it the same day because we shared it together. And it was a quote that said, if your life was a movie and the audience was watching it, at this point in the show or this point in the film, what would everybody be shouting?
Yeah.
Like, what would everyone be yelling? They're like, this is so obvious. What should you be doing?
I love it.
That's what I just thought of here. And I've read that multiple times. And what hits me, I have recorded hundreds of podcasts. I have recorded thousands of videos. You've seen my gear series to this. We host 2 podcasts every single week at Pure Light. Like, I love entertainment. I love media. I was asking the media team here. Like, I just love this stuff. And it's a natural skill that I believe I have. And it's one where I'll like toot my own horn. I am good at conveying a message and being on a camera.
I'll validate that, by the way.
Thank you. It's me toot my own horn. But I feel like I've never done that either for myself or for others other than on the sales platform. Probably 3,000 videos have been filmed. All of them are sales. But I love entertaining, and I have a sense of humor, and I like being witty and comedy. I have to like tiptoe. At what point do you stop wearing an executive founder hat and call it your true self? And anyone who gets on my calls and we're on Google Meets or Zooms, I will joke all day long. I'll make everybody laugh, and I'll say some outlandish shit that probably shouldn't be said. But having that shared with more people than just our we have 926 employees. They get to see it pretty frequently, but no one else gets to see that. And I think that's a skill set I have. And you've known me for over 10 years, and you've seen me make these things.
Yep.
And I don't know. I think it could help people because I've seen it help people.
That's beautiful.
If people can laugh, I love making people laugh, man.
Yep.
And it's a skill I have. Just haven't unleashed it, like
so
you said.
My next question, you know what it's going to be?
Am I going to do it?
No, not if.
Okay, when?
Cuando?
Man, I don't know.
And
It needs to be sometime soon.
So I'm asking you, you don't have to answer on camera, but I want to know.
Okay.
So you text me, you call me, whatever, the next little bit here, but let's get it going.
I'll figure it out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's calling you.
It is.
Like, let's go.
And that would be something that we talk about, like filling your cups, right? You fulfilled
We'll just
with
think
life.
about it. You're a year into doing that.
Yeah.
How does Damon feel a year in?
Fulfilled.
You see what I'm saying?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I feel it calling. The audience is shouting for it, and I don't know. I think I have a personality that could be shared.
I agree.
That I think could benefit some people. And unless you know me or have met me or have worked with me for 10 years, you don't know that me.
Yeah, and listen, part of the reason why I turn these cameras on and have guests come in is you can't be a part of what you don't know. You can't be in a network that you don't know exists or something that you can't see. And I think I've gone over this with you before. And sometimes it feels cumbersome. Sometimes it feels, okay, here we have to do this again. But after doing it, there's always that sense of fulfillment. There's always that, oh, wow, I'm really glad I had these folks come in, and, man, I learned a lot today. And obviously I do this a lot it's selfish and selfless. Like, I want to extract knowledge out of you guys and increase my human life values. So this is a way in which I'm able to do that. So
well, you do a great job. You have a great show, and thank you for hosting me. Thanks for the questions. They are thought-provoking. Yeah. You do a great job, man.
No, thanks for being a part of it. Nothing but love for you. Listen, if you didn't get something out of this, you had it on mute or you were extremely multitasking on something else. But Damon is a savant. He's one of one. He's a beautiful human being doing incredible things. Whatever you can do to have proximity to Damon, my encouragement today is do it. And hopefully we learn some new things today that we will start implementing immediately. Don't put things off. Get them done. Time is that one resource that we just don't know what the balance is. So just make it happen. Much love, Damon. Thanks for being on.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, brother.